Hi guys, it's Mrs. Peterson, that lady who teaches art, and today we're going to talk about the element of art called form. Please write your first name, last initial on the top of your worksheet, and your class. If you're in Mrs. Whelan's class, you'll write 3W. Our big word for today is form, F-O-R-M. Please write that on your box. And then we're going to talk about what form is and what it is not. So it is 3D. It is not 2D or flat. Please write that down. Today we're going to use our pencil to create some forms through drawing. So down here at the bottom, I have 4 little boxes that we're going to draw on. The first one is a sphere. We're going to start with a circle about in the middle of our box. So our first thing is to draw the shape, and then we are going to draw our horizon line. Our horizon line can go above it or through the object, but it usually doesn't go under the object because then it would look like it's floating or flying through the air. So for this one, let's just put it through the object. So it looks like it's sitting right on the edge. And that already looks better. It already looks a little more three-dimensional, like it's actually sitting somewhere. We're going to shade in using hatching, which is just diagonal lines all going the same way in the background back here. And get that all. Kids will always ask me how dark it should be. Let's just go light so that it doesn't take too much time. And then we're going to add on our light for today. On a final drawing, we don't add an arrow for our light source, but this just helps us to know where the light's coming from. And then at the very bottom, on the opposite of the light, that's where it's going to be the darkest. So I'm going to turn my paper. If you're right-handed, that might help you too. And make just a little sliver. This is not a straight across line, then it wouldn't look very round. Draw a line that is like a smile. It curves up on the ends. And then go ahead and fill that in with the dark black that you can create with your pencil. And then make another curve line. This little chunk is going to be your next value, which is dark gray. Then we're going to make another little curved line. That's going to be our middle gray. And then the last one's going to be different. We're going to use the edge of the ball and super lightly give ourselves kind of an oval and go light gray around that. Okay. When you have your shades on the object, then we're going to also add the shadow. The shadow will mimic the shape of the object, so it's kind of circular, but it also gets kind of elongated or stretched because of being on a two-dimensional surface, the flat table. I'm going to start with little scumbling close little circles next to the object, and as I get further away from the object, I'm going to just make it a little bit more light. Okay, that's our sphere. Now we're going to make our cube. I'm going to start with my square about in the middle, and that's a 2D shape. Now we're going to turn it into a form. So what I'd like you to do is go up at an angle from that corner one, and then following that same angle, you're going to go up at this corner and up at this corner the same way. Okay, we're going to connect these with a flat line and connect these with a straight down line, and now we have our cube. For the cube, let's draw our horizon line way up at the top so that we have our cube sitting in close on the table. And then I'm going to start with hatching, but we're going to actually make this cross hatching. So lightly one way, diagonal lines one way, and then if I twist my paper, I can do diagonal lines the other way. And now it sort of looks like that wall back there has some sort of texture on it. But I can tell that it's definitely looking more three-dimensional because of that. All right, this time we're going to have our light coming from the top right. So the front is going to be the darker side. I'm going to make it maybe middle gray. The side that I see is going to be my light gray, and the top's going to stay white on this one. Once I have my shading on the object, then I'm going to add my shadow. So I'm going to come straight down on both of those and then connect those together. Again, in my shadow, I'm going to do the little circles, darkest up next to the object. And then as I get further away, go ahead and get lighter. All right, and we're done with the cube. Now we're going to go on to the cylinder. When I think about a cylinder, it has a circle on the top, a circle on the bottom, and a rectangle on the side. But for this one, we are going to draw an oval because that's how it ends up looking in 3 dimensions. Draw 2 lines straight down, one on each side. And then also a lot of students will make this straight across. That's not what we want. We actually want it to curve so it looks three-dimensional. So do like a little smile line down there. Okay, on this one, we're also going to make our horizon line close to the top. And we're going to use a technique called stippling, which is little dots all the way across the back of that line, so it looks like the wall has a texture. This time we're going to have our light going straight down from the top. So the top is going to be light. The bottom way down here is going to have a curved line, and it's going to be my darkest shade, my black. Way down at the bottom. When you get the black on there, then you can do another curved line. And in that little area, we're going to make it our dark gray. Then I'm going to make another little curved area. Make that my middle gray. And then I'm going to make my light gray. Okay. And with this one, the shadow, if the light is shining straight down, the shadow is not going to be seen because it's under the object. So we don't need to draw a shadow on that one. Okay, for the cone, we're going to start with an oval at the top. That's kind of weird. Sometimes students want to draw it the opposite way. And then a point for the bottom. Yeah, almost like a snow cone. And we will put our horizon line through the object. And oh, this time we're going to color below. You can color below the line too. I guess I didn't do that on any of the other ones. We're going to color below. And we're just going to use scumbling all over lightly. So little circles all over. I guess I didn't really mean for us to color above the line all 3 times, but just so you know, you can color above or below your horizon line. I guess it depends if your table is darker or your wall. And then on this one also, we're going to have our light shining right on the top. So again, right down here at the bottom, there's going to be the darkest little shade. I'm using just a little curved line. And then I'm going to have my dark gray next. Another little curved line, my middle gray. And then another curved line for my light gray. Top's going to stay light because the light's shining on it. This time my shadow is going to mimic the shape that's blocking the light, which would be this oval. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to give myself kind of a little oval, and then it's going to be darkest right up next to the object, lighter as it gets away. Okay, I'm going to look really quick on my desk here for a blending stick. I had one. I'll grab one from the cabinet. Okay, then when we finish a drawing, we always want to do the last 2 steps, which are blend and erase. So I'm going to go back to my sphere, and I'm going to blend the lightest areas. We don't really blend our white. We want to leave that alone. And then done with that, I'll blend my lightest area on my cube. And then I want to use my blending stick in the same direction that I created the lines. Okay, we don't really blend stippling, so I'm just going to go down here on the cylinder. I'm going to ignore that up there. And then same thing on our table here. We're going to use the same direction to blend. And then my last step is to use my eraser just to clean things up. Whenever we're doing a drawing, we always want it to look like we actually finished it. And I think sometimes we forget that our eraser is a tool for drawing too. Definitely want to just clean that all up so it looks like a finished piece. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see what you create.